listening to the Bon Marie Show on ITV.ie and Irish News Radio. Today we're welcoming Elvis again for our Knowledge Wednesday, the salmon of Wednesday. We'll be talking about the brutality of what the British police are attacking the yellow vest and the EU trying to create a civil war in everywhere, but particularly Ireland, as Le Pen has reported. And she's right, but she didn't mention was that they're very much the backing of the Irish government, who are helping create a civil war in Ireland and really rallying up an anti-British feeling as much as they can, trying to. Now, it hasn't worked. So all the things that have been happening in Northern Ireland, I truly believe are false flags. They're not of paramilitaries, as they have been claimed to be by the fake media. They are far from it, because all the government's attempts of this anti-British feeling just questions, why do the Irish government want this anti-British when we've just kind of stepped out of that war zone not so long ago. So for most Irish people, it just kind of more adds questions to Leo on what he's actually doing and proves the point. He is, as he says, he is the European Union. Anyway, welcome, Elvis. How are you today? I believe he's not too well.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a bit of a chest, I think it's a chest infection, whatever, apology in advance if I'm coughing or something during my talk. I'm trying to actually keep it a bit steady right now, but, it will happen. Anyway, yeah, you're spot on. You're spot on what did you say? First of all, what you're expecting from, when you got a foreign person in the politic, that he doesn't have a feeling about the country that he lives in. Yeah. Well, that's to me is not kind of something spectacular. What's happening is last Saturday we had actually I wasn't in it, but kind of other Yellow Vest demonstrators went to central London, and as usual they were demonstrating peacefully, and that was for the three boys, justice for the three boys, and also for the Brexit, and generally speaking, justice in this country doesn't exist now. And following the last week's France demonstration, that if you remember, the police used a grenade and somebody lost his hand. If you follow the recent events internationally, especially in Europe, you can see a link, very close link to what's happening. They are following each other. One of them was the Yellow Vest demonstration, peaceful demonstration. It was as usual. That my fellow friends, as usual, they come in on Saturday. Actually, I wasn't there. I couldn't make it. And they were attacked by the anti-riot police this time. We didn't have them before. And all the time police was alongside us. But this time it was a bit violent. And clearly we got all the videos that one of the black officers, actually he was a huge guy. He went to this girl quite in distance, and she wasn't doing anything. She was literally quite a big distance from that police, and he grabbed her from the neck, dragged her out of the people surrounding her, and then got on the floor and handcuffed her from behind. Poor girl was completely innocent. And if you look at the following thing, last weekend in France, police used a grenade and somebody lost a hand. And
yeah, I saw that shocking stuff going on.
If you remember, I said something regarding this, that it might be followed by the British police. You see, and it did follow by the British police immediately week after that. they are linking together. Sort of you can see how this follows. They don't want these people in, outside. They want to kill the voice of these people. So now they're using violence. Yeah, that's what it is. The establishment now trying to kill the voice of these people. Literally, they can't handle it anymore.
It's just quite shocking to the level that they're going to. I don't know, like it just maybe governments were always this corrupt, but people just weren't aware. It just seems so much corruption in the world now. It really does. Like you see the British police attacking the French police, attacking the yellow vest. In Ireland, the yellow vest got locked up, the main guy, Ben Gilroy. For 6 months, he was let out and he was put back in again for actually one
Yeah.
question. He questioned, like Ben Gilroy was helping people out, people who were being evicted in Ireland. And he's a really good guy. He goes around and he helps illegal people who've been kicked out illegally from vulture funds and different things that terrible criminality the government's involved in here. Anyway, innocent people are being kicked out into the cold streets, and he steps in and he helps them legally. Now he isn't a trained solicitor, but he studied it enough, and he gets in and he asks questions. And the question he asked was Allied Irish Bank in the Republic of Ireland, or was it
Yeah.
in Northern Ireland based? And for that, he got 6 months and contempt of court.
Yeah.
This is how crazy it is.
Yeah.
And it shows you the banks are involved in it as well. It's the banks, the government, the police, the media. We're in for a very, very dangerous ride. And I do believe, that you just watch the Irish government rally hate speech against the British. It's really at a frenzy now. They want civil war. And I do believe it is the Irish government with their false flags. They're really like what the special place in hell, as Ned Tusk said that on one of the meetings with Ireland, and the
Yeah.
Taoiseach delighted with that comment, so-called Taoiseach with no mandate. Delighted. It's really rallying up this anti-British, and the EU are completely trying to use our history and have been for the last 2 years, but unlikely because it's getting near to when the British will go out. They're really rallying up the Irish government, saying, "I am the European Union," and they're in for a nasty surprise. Like this sort of absolutely insane things. I did a video on it where Leo literally at one point he goes on, that they won't be able to travel from Athenry to Athens, which is complete bullshit because freedom of movement, like complete barefaced lies. Like freedom of movement happened with the Irish and British. There's an already agreement well before the EU or the EEC. So that's complete lies. The other lies, maybe maximum the British might have to fill in a 2-minute form of a visa form, but most of them have been to school, so they can read and write. So that's not a bloody big deal. It's like causing a civil war is a fucking big deal. If the UK decide to turn off our electricity because they're the ones who run our electricity, that's a big deal. If the UK decide to stop trading with Ireland, that's a big deal. And who gets to pay for this stupidity of the so-called Taoiseach? The Irish people. But it completely insane kind of things. I mean, yeah, the British are leaving and that will affect our trade, but that means that we should be looking at the British and kind of saying, okay, we joined with you guys to trade with you, so we should be leaving with you. Not this fucking anti-British brigade bullshit going on. Who's that going to help? What's that going to do? It's not like the British. It's like they think that if they bully and antagonize the British enough, suddenly the British go, you know what, maybe that's a bad idea. We'll change our mind. I mean, it's more likely you're making it more determined that they will definitely leave without a deal. Who wants to be antagonized and bullied and told what to do?
what this Leo doing, yeah, is getting a steak, and as we say, forgive my language, he's stirring the old poo, yeah. So he's making a more smell of it,
Dirty shit, yeah. Yeah.
refreshment. So I'm not surprised from somebody who's not even originally Irish. He's Indian,
Yeah.
and he's whatever his background is. This guy can't look. No matter he was born there, no matter how much. But look, I do believe in a good and bad gene. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you are not originally born from there, right?
Yeah.
Originally born there. So look, it can be any possibility, right? But what I'm saying is, this civil war, I predicted that is going to eventually happen in Europe quite
Yeah.
some times ago, possibly a couple of years ago.
I think it's already in France already. They've already created it in France with the yellow.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they're saying that they're willing to take a bullet for it.
that's right. You see, I predicted that this is going to happen. Eventually, is going to happen in Europe, and the reason I could see it clearly, much easier than possibly the European themselves, it was that you can see European, they got their own interest. They got the interest of football, they got the interest of going to pub, they got the interest of music, and literally everything which is not Islamic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people can possibly sacrifice one thing, but they cannot sacrifice everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
They might
Absolutely.
not be interested in their flag. They might be not interested in their history. They might be not interested in their queen and the constitution or whatever. But even if it's their personal thing, yeah, that they are interested, which actually is, in this case is, you look at you talk to any British, yeah, the minute you say, let's talk about religion, oh, I'm not religious, yeah. Let's talk about politics, I'm not a politician. I'm not interested in politics. Let's talk about pop. Let's go for a pop pint. Yeah, immediately. Let's talk about, I don't know, fun immediately. But look, this is where it's gonna hit their personal area, right? The reason people not talking anything at the moment because so far it's constitutional. Yeah, these invaders, they come in and they take in their country or something. Yeah, let them come in, refugees welcome, you come in, although they're being a hypocrite. These people being a hypocrite, yeah, because if they were really telling the truth, if they really truly care about refugees, out there, or challenge any of them, get one of them at your home and look after them. Just get one.
Yeah.
Hmm? If you got a bigger place, take two, take three, take five, like Lily
Mm.
Allen did. Yeah, Lily Allen did. And guess what happened to her? She
You got
was
attacked.
homeless at the end. They squatted there. They chucked her out of house, their own house. You know, this is the result of the stupidity. Do you get
Yeah.
me? It's something that people do not think about it. But when the Islam comes, yeah, what they're gonna do? It's gonna affect their personal thing. You are not allowed to listen to music. Women are not allowed to have tattoo. Did you know this is in Quran? Women
Well, I
basically
didn't
being
know that.
cursed, those who have a tattoo. Yeah, Muhammad cursed them. So you're not allowed to wear a makeup. Hmm? You're not allowed to have a perfume. That's another thing Muhammad been talking about it. That you cannot wear a perfume. Hmm? So
Crazy.
women hopefully going to be much more suffering than men anyway, but men going to be affected. You cannot have a look at the Saudi. They don't have a cinema. They don't have a theater. They don't have a football game match or something. And if they have, only men can go, right?
Yeah.
But when it affects your area of your interest, saying you cannot go to the club and have I don't know, music and fun and dance or something, you must be joking, right? These people eventually will wake up.
See,
Yeah.
the problem is they don't understand. They think that it's only for Islamic people, that Islamic people only wear this and Islamic people only, and it's their choice to live like this. They don't understand that when Islam takes an area, it doesn't even have to be the country. At the beginning, it takes an area. Everybody, whether you're Islamic or not, has to abide by Islamic laws, whether you are. And then that area grows and grows and grows until Muslims become into, as you see in the UK, in mayors and da da da, and then they keep pushing Islam further and further, further until it becomes into law, into government. And then once you have government or majority of population who's Muslim, which is kind of happening fairly quickly to the UK, but they have a huge population anyway. But once that happens, which would happen to Ireland overnight because it is a tiny population, then that everybody, whether you're Muslim or not, you all have to abide by the law. Majority of people don't get that. They think, oh, it's only those people and they only have to follow those laws because that's their religion. They don't understand that once it becomes Islamic land, everybody has to live with Islam. And everybody has to live. You don't get to go, oh, I'm a Christian, so you know what, I don't need to wear the hijab. There is no such thing. You wear the hijab whether you're Christian or not.
No, absolutely, you can't. No, I mean, when the revolution happened in Iran, Christians, Muslim, Jews, anybody had to actually wear the same dress code and cover. You cannot come and say, I'm Christian. I got, I got the freedom of having my bare head or something, or there's a law. You have to wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most people don't understand, and then they kind of think that everybody in that country is Islamic.
Yeah.
They don't understand that there is other religions in that country and who have to abide by exactly Islam. They don't have a freedom to go, I'm a Christian, as you said, I'm going off to church now, I'm going to do this. You can't do that. Once the land becomes Islamic, you have to abide by Islam, and all the things that women get slashed and everything will happen whether you're a Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, non-religion, feckin' atheist. It doesn't make any difference.
Absolutely not. Yeah. I mean, look, people think is the equality. People think, but look, for example, by the law of Islam, go and search for yourself. Yeah. If a Muslim kill a Muslim, which got a punishment, but it's not a death. But if a Christian kill a Muslim, then there is a death penalty. It's heavier for the Christians or non-Muslim to do the same crime. Yeah, people think is equality. Look, in here, the Muslim always playing the victim card. Yeah. But look, the hijab is my choice and is my religion. I'm gonna follow it. But they're using and abusing our freedom of speech, freedom of everything in this country. We're not saying that. Look, according to our law, you cannot wear the bloody hijab or burqa in particular, yeah, because I cannot see your face. I don't know underneath is a man or the. While if you're wearing a balaclava or you're wearing a casket or something, then they're gonna, a helmet, they're gonna come and get you immediately, right? Especially in the bank or anywhere else in the airport, right? These people are playing us. These people playing and abusing our law and the system, for their own thing. As I said, we're not playing it fair. We're not saying, look, in, for example, Islamic country, yeah, the Christian cannot even practice their own Christianity as normal and usual, yeah. Our church has been torched, been attacked, Christians being killed, been murdered, been kidnapped, been raped, right?
And they've got a bloody fake going, talking about bringing in Muslims, but never talks about those persecution of the Christians. Absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely. Yeah, nobody talks about it. And when if you're there you get one of the Muslim girl and just smack her. Don't rape her, don't kill her, don't do anything, just smack her, right? And I promise you, tomorrow from the northest part of country to the southest part of country would be in hellfire, right? You see how the Muslim will treat you.
Oh, it'll be all over. Sure, the left would be completely upright. They'd probably
Oh
go
yeah,
into the
yeah,
left would
definitely.
be more upset than the
Yeah,
Muslims. It's like, oh my God, look at them. See, we were right. They're all being persecuted by the far right, the white extremists. Look at
yeah,
them, white supremacists.
Nazis.
Look at them, what they did to her. Like, it actually, the left would be up and fucking riot gear because they already are for words. Nobody's been killed. Nobody, the right wing are not fucking going around killing Muslims, blowing them up, gang raping them, grooming
Yeah,
them, anything that's happening with the British girls and Western girls in general in Europe. But the left are still singing and shouting about hate speech, intolerance, and
yeah.
incitement to hate for words. Nothing's
I
actually
did
happened, Jenny.
I did mention it to you when the Manchester Arena was basically all those kids lost their lives. Yeah. When they were doing some kind of memorial things for them, putting a flower, as usual, we come and put the candles, balloons, teddy bears, and this is repeating. Do the Muslim give a damn? Put as many teddy bears as you want, put as many balloons as you want, put as many, I don't know, heart signages as you want with your finger, put as many flowers as you want. They laughing at your stupidity because they don't give a damn. This is what they supposed to be doing. You are an infidel. You're supposed to be dead. You're supposed to be killed. You're supposed to be non-existent unless you accept the Islam. This is the final message. They don't get it. They really don't get it. You know. And the funny thing is, majority of these stupid lefties or even normal people, you know, like this conservative guy, Mog, yeah, he was
Yeah.
defending jihadi girl,
You
and I'll
wish.
come to that in it. Yeah, he was saying yes, she needs a second chance. Did you ask those girls who were killed in the Manchester Arena? They deserve the second chance. They had a life in front of their head,
But
eyes.
the funny thing is that Ice's bride was asked what you thought about the Manchester bombing, and she said, yeah, they decided to. She thought it was right that those children were killed because of bombs in Syria. Like, how the hell can you justify? That's how insane. I actually think she should be not just stripped, all her family sent out.
Oh yes,
All of them.
yes, yeah, definitely, definitely. Her father was actually filmed twice. Once he was with the Anjem Choudhury, once he was with the killer of the that British soldier who was beheaded. Right, he was amongst them. He is a jihadi, and I promise you, her sister lying about she lost her passport and she stole her passport. You know, her sister helped her to give her passport basically to her to go away. Look, it looks like family are jihadis. If your father is a jihadi, you tell me how can I trust that the rest of the family is not jihadi? Hmm? All of a
Absolutely.
sudden they become a Muslim? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Look, they can fool the whole world. They cannot fool me because I grew up with them, right? Why it is when we had this Manchester killing, right? Manchester Arena killing last year. One lefty idiot, one girl, she was singing, "Don't look back in anger,"
Oh,
right? Yeah, right, you dumb. Don't look back in anger because you haven't lost your sister or your daughter or anybody. So what the hell do you know? And you are a stupid,
they are so
dumb.
stupid. Even if she probably did lose her sister or
No,
whatever, you know what? She'll probably still come out with that same shit. The left are just so brain dead, criminal. They don't care what they have to give to believe that
Absolutely.
everybody is the same,
Yeah.
every religion is the same, every ideology. We're all just one living in this world, and I'm so sick of we're all just one. We're all different races, and we're all completely different things, all different skills. We're not all the same. Even in, if you put the white or Caucasian race, we're all completely different in that. We all have our
Different.
different DNA and our different makeup. We're not all one. We don't all think the same. We're not all the same. If you put them generally, Africans are better at running. For whatever reason, you'll always see marathon runners. Our Africans are better runners. Better, the most intelligent and
Because
the
that's the
cleverest
nature created them for this purpose. Yeah.
Japanese, Chinese, they usually have extreme, for whatever, Orientals, as the British like to call them, highest IQ. Then, for whatever reason, generally Caucasians are very different. There's very mixed. We tend to be very good at entrepreneurs, engineering, that sort of stuff. And that's just the
Yeah.
truth. Like, there is no point
That's
in
the
trying to lie.
reality. That's the reality. That's the reality. Look, the Africans, they are good in running, or they are taller because is depends on their nature, that the nature and the location that they live. They live
Yeah,
in Sahara, they live in the desert, and in order to get food, they have to have to sort of run after the animals. They have to walk miles and miles away, and they're skinny.
yeah,
And their women, they got possibly some people wondering why is that, but their women got the bigger backside, yeah,
yeah,
and exceptionally big. Is sort of to me is a bit funny big, but it's because they store fat in their bum, and when it comes to time that sort of is a starvation or something, then the body uses that storage and feed from it. Yeah,
yeah,
we don't have that because, well, obviously we live in a different nature,
yeah.
right? So I mean, you cannot put the African in Finland. He will bloody die. In a matter of a couple of weeks because it's cold. Even they're suffering here. Sometimes I go out. It's a quite warm weather. Yeah, and you can see the African wrapped up as if is they're living in Siberia. But that's the way it is. Look at the Vikings. They were exceptionally skillful in aviation and navigation. Yeah,
Yeah.
in making ships and boats, and they were expert. You know,
They were
they
brilliant
were.
and fantastic warriors. They really
You know,
were brilliant warriors.
yeah.
And quite
All the
vicious, but they were fantastic. Like, they took over many countries, and
That's
they were
right.
pretty warriors. But and that is a gene, and that's completely different. And even the Celts were huge warriors and fantastic fighters and all that sort of stuff. Again, that's completely different.
Yeah.
And pretending it's all the same is not the same. We come from completely different DNA. And there's nothing wrong with that. The
Yeah.
fact that, China and Japan have higher IQs than the rest of the races. It-
Yeah.
that is just a reality. There's no point pretending, oh no, they're the same as us. They're not. I mean, all you
Yeah.
have to do is look at universities. I mean, there was one university, Berkeley, which was blind color, right? They literally took the IQs of people to get into this Berkeley University in America,
Yeah.
and there was something like over 60% were of Oriental
Yeah.
groupings,
Mhm.
and there was a tiny percentage of African Americans, and
Yeah.
they were puzzled, obviously, at the beginning of this because of the ratio of African Americans towards what the English call Orientals. Americans would be tiny percentage population wise, but that's just it. They're completely different IQ. Their IQ is much lower. No, it's not racist because you know, if you say it's to do with skin color, it's not, because Asians are brown or yellow or whatever you'd like to call them.
Yeah.
They're not white. Caucasians are in the middle of that. But even in the white Caucasian groups, you've different groups in that, and some of them have higher IQs, some of them are more violent groups, a warrior group. They're all different breakdown because they're made of different makeup. Like,
That's right.
and saying that we're all the same, that there's no, it's such bullshit. Like, people are saying, what is Irish? What is English? What is Irish? Is very easy because we Smiths were a group of made up of genetic cluster of 10 and 7.
That's
Now,
right.
this is the majority of the Irish. Seven of our 10 cluster is made up of Celtic genes. The other 3 is English or British and Scandinavian, Norway, and they were from the Vikings. And the other cluster is French, I think. So that's the average person. And to pretend
That's
that
right.
that doesn't exist is completely fake. So the average person has 7, out of the 10 genetic cluster, 7 of it is Celtic. So that would be completely different. There isn't another race with that amount of Celtic genes in their cluster of their makeup. So to pretend it's the same is completely bullshit. It's the same as you break any country down and you take the average person who haven't been mixed at all, you will find the average cluster of whatever it is. Like, I would imagine with the British, it's like obviously Anglo-Saxon, so they had Germanic blood as well in there. They were part of the Roman Empire. So say if they had 10 cluster group, I don't know what their cluster group is, say if it was 10, they'll still have a certain amount of that. They would have a certain amount of Celtic. There'd be a different mix from us. I mean, they'd have some connections with the DNA. I'd say Scottish would have very similar. I'd say maybe 1 or 2 clusters of the group would be different, but they'd probably be, I would imagine, our closest relations outside. But yeah, no, it's just, that really annoys me with the left. They just
You
refuse to
see,
listen.
the nature, God, whatever you call it, universe, whatever you believe, created the variety of everything. You look at the fishes. Fish, we call it all fish. But the fish, they got into even 2 major categories: the sea salt water fish and the sweetwater fish. There are 2 different categories, and there are millions, possibly billions of different varieties of fishes. Look at the trees, look at the plants, look at anything in this universe exists is different. They got varieties. They are not the same. Same as human being. The Japanese doesn't look like African. The African doesn't look like Swedish. The Swedish doesn't look like, I don't know, Red Indies. We are different.
Completely.
We are made for different purposes. Whatever reason is, I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not God. I'm not nature. I'm not. I don't know the reason of it. But that's the way
Absolutely.
it's been created.
Wrong with it, though. You know, this is what I don't understand. They want
Yeah.
you, they look at it, for me, it's like looking at the rainbow going, you know what, we don't like the fact that it's all different colors and it's all different. It's, that's what makes the rainbow beautiful, is that it is all
That's right.
different.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the red or the purple is more valuable than the yellow or vice versa. They are just different. But instead of using it as a negative way and trying to get rid of it all, you should look at it as the strength together. I mean, like, say, right, the Irish, because I'll talk about the Irish because obviously that's the race I would know and understand more. I mean, the British would tend to have used the Irish in most of their armies, right? The Royal Irish Army, and I think they're the front line to most of their wars. The Americans were the same. You looked at any war in America, they would have literally hired the Irish off the boat, and it was their thing, you know, that they would promote both England and America would use Irish higher in the population. So if because they were a minority in both countries, but the population in, say, armies were the Irish in England and America, in police in America, firemen. So all the kind of hard, heavy, I suppose, fighting jobs you would give the Irish. Now that obviously is something to do with our DNA. For whatever reason, they are, I don't like to say the word violent, but more, maybe more warrior-like, or have more connection to a fighting genes, that,
Yeah.
that's why they're being used in that way, because obviously that's where their strength is. You'll find like loads more Chinese or whatever in things like engineering and things like that they're very good at. And you'll find British and Germans quite good at managerial kind of posts. They tend to be very good at organization, and for
Yeah,
whatever
that's
reason,
how the
that
world works, actually. You need something from me, I need something from you. We all need something from somebody else. Persian carpet, for example, comes is unique. People want to get a Persian carpet, or I don't know, caviar or whatever. And this is how the world works. you know,
absolutely.
because we got these terms of varieties, yeah? You produce, you are good in something, I'm good in something else. Look at it, for example, I was going to tell you this. Amongst the Middle Eastern, if you call it Middle East, yeah? The most of the high Q people are Iranian. And I'm not lying about this, not because I'm from there, right? It's because the Iranian are Aryan, they are white.
Yeah.
They are the same blood as Germans and Northern Europeans. They come from Northern Europe. They settled down even in Croatia. I asked one of the Croatian, he said, we are Iranian,
Yeah.
you know? So they settled down in there in Croatia. Then after that, they moved to Iran. Some settled down in Croatia and left there. And if you look at the things now in America, right? Even here, even in England, we got the top scientists, top university lecturers that are Iranian. In NASA, yeah, top elite people who are running the projects of NASA that are Iranian. The doctors, the scientists, you name it, even the business people. We got lots of people in White House. You
Yeah.
know, they got a very high,
I do.
high level IQ, yeah. And the reason these people left behind, it was because of the poverty and sort of unfairness that happened to Iran, during the history. Yeah, first it was
Yeah.
the Arab who attacked Iran and made a big, massive change up until now. We're suffering from it, and they brought Islam to us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, even if you look at the history of Iran before Islam,
Yeah.
Iran was a very successful,
Stunning.
very,
Yeah.
very successful empire with lots of
Absolutely.
scientists and doctors and you name it. Even they say to Muhammad that the queen of Persia, the daughter of Khosrow, yeah, is a queen, and he
Yeah.
says that society never succeed. Can you believe it? Muhammad says that that society will never succeed because the queen is basically is a female, right? And this is how they've been looking at the societies, you know. So you can see they kept us behind
Yeah.
from progression, and this is the reality people should be looking. There are lots and lots of things these people should be knowing about, either the Islam or what's happening to them, and they really need to wake up quickly because anything is coming, it's going to drag you down first. It's going to affect you as well as a person.
Absolutely.
Don't as a sort of government things, and if they take over. Look, as I said, Muslim always playing the victimhood. Hmm? When they
I
when
actually
they
see Ireland becoming more of a communism state rather than even an Islamic state. I think they're using Islam. I think the EU are using Islam to as you said, they're going to create a lot of false flags war. They want civil war to break down because they want to take land. They want to take everything from us people. They want to take, if you're farming, your own business, everything. They want you working for the government, but they have to
So
break us down and take everything away. They have to put it in such a bad way that you're willing to sign anything, as you were saying earlier on. So, I mean, for each country, the level will be quite different and what they'll be
yeah,
able to tolerate. It'll be quite hard. I don't know what in Ireland, because the Irish have been through so much. It'll be quite like, it'll be so underhanded, like what they're doing now is, they'll be signing our rights away without us knowing, like, the abortion, we're now into this bloody EU army, this sort of thing. They keep pushing our rights into this communism state. So I don't even know whether, for us, the civil war may or may not happen, but either way, I think it's all going to be signed off. It already pretty much has been signed off anyway.
the issue of civil war, I was talking about it. I said I predicted quite a long time ago, and it's been predicted by some expert politicians quite decades ago. Yeah, one of them even said it will come that the streets of London will be covered with blood. Yeah, it's been predicted. Is not a unusual thing. Sort of, if you got a bit of a common sense and knowledge of history, you can see it's coming towards you. And I
Oh
saw
yeah.
it. It's coming here, and I spoke about it a couple of years ago. So
That's
civil war
pretty much
will
here already.
happen, but
I mean, you look
it's a
at France, it's
it's
already
two
here.
yeah it's two possibilities. Yeah, it's two sides of this thing. Let me explain it to you. One of them is that eventually this cutting knife will hit the bone of everybody, and everybody will feel the pain and had to, get up and do something about it. And that will be a civil war, because the thing's going from bad to worse and from difficult to impossible. Yeah. The number of Muslims are increasing with the speed of light is going up, and they know they have no time to waste. They know it. You see, the difference is between the European and the Muslim, that the European don't learn from the history. They forgot the time that the Islam was here and took 75% of Europe, and it took 400 years to chuck him out. The date of 9/11, it wasn't accidental. It was the time that the Muslims were chucked out on the date, on the gate of Vienna. And
Oh,
then, kind of why it is. But the Muslim did learn from their lesson. That is the big difference. These
yeah.
people, they are not intelligent in making them, I don't know, rockets or guns or things, but they are clever in a war that, don't forget, 1400 years of Islam is nothing but war.
Yeah.
It's 270 million people since the time of Muhammad been slaughtered all over the world. Except, I mean, that is not including the India. India on its own, 400 million in 800 years. They they had the suffering, right? 400 million been only in India killed. But apart from that, 270 million in on their way to Europe. Hmm? So look, people should be considering all this. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed about Islam. The mentality is the same mentality, because people following the same book, and the whole book, as you should know, out of 114 verses, 109 is about the killing of Jews and Christians. It's about the crucifying, beheading, murdering Jews and Christian and non-Muslim. Right? It's not. I'm not making it up. People, go and read it for yourself. Go and discuss. Go and do a research. Don't believe in me. But what it is, one side of the that civil war is something people uprise because they got no choice. The other scenario can be that the governments they can see they're hitting the difficulties, so they have to make a job a bit easier for themselves. And what is that job? Is that they're gonna kill more of the whites and European in a civil war. So you see, after the civil war, after the war, usually is the huge exhaustion. You get so exhausted, you're so tired, you cannot take anything else. You lost your family, you lost your beloved one, you lost your home, you lost your everything, including your own energy. You got no energy to stand up. And that is next step for these traitors to open the gates and say, Africa, the whole Africa come in. The whole Middle East come in. Don't waste time. Come and get it. It's all yours. That's the story. So this is the second side of the story of the Civil War. Is either that or this. I don't know which one going to be. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I think they've got to get rid of the white people first. They're going to get rid of the indigenous population, so there's no such thing. They're left to memory. However they do that, I think that's their first aim, to get rid of that.
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's a big possibility. But, I don't know whether you heard about this jihadi bride or not. She was hoping to come and give birth to her jihadi gene of her son called Jarrah. Do you know what it's called? Abu Ben Jarrah. Her son is called Abu Ben Jarrah. And look how this little monkey been trying to hide the thing and to sort of kind of sugarcoat the whole thing. She didn't call her son Muhammad, Hussein, Ali, I don't know, Jamal or whatever, yeah? She called him Jarrah. And people might say, oh, what a lovely name. It looks like Gerald, doesn't it? It looks like Gerald. No, it's not. Jarrah was the 13th century jihadi Muslim who crucified Christians, killed and genocide Jews and the rest. She didn't even stop to avoid, kind of not putting a Muslim name on her son, yeah? She was hoping to come and give a birth on the free NHS, on a sort of lovely healthcare here, right? And then use and abuse it, as usual. 4 years this girl, she went on her own wish, yeah, to Syria, and now saying, oh, she was a kid, she was 15. You tell me something. She was 15. They want to say she didn't understand. She didn't understand, she was a kid. How on earth 15 years of old kid can fly from here all the way to Syria, going through sort of Turkey and, God knows what route, and go there and find herself in ISIS camp, yeah? Second thing is, she was there for 4 years. She had 2 kids, other kids, that they died. What a lovely mother, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I bet she was looking after them properly.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
How did they die, actually? Does it ever say how the other 2 kids died?
one of the things she mentioned, yeah, don't forget, one of the things she said that when they asked her, did you see any execution? She said, no, but I saw 7 beheaded head in the bin. So you can imagine the level of infection and unhygienic area, sort of felt and blood and, microbe and disease everywhere. You can imagine. And what she said, before this one dies in the camp, I would love to come and give birth in there, sort of. So I believe the other one dies because of the matter of healthcare or something, in there, lack of health and hygiene. And she said it clearly on the Sky News. She doesn't regret. She even said, I had a good time. She had a good time. And now she want to come and do it because she got no choice. Because everything is. So I know she's been stripped. Last night, actually, it did happen. Stripped from her nationality. But it was very close to take her in as well. But I think the government noticed it's going to be a big tension. People really don't want this one in. And she messed up her interview because she couldn't even lie properly,
Well, I think just the fact that she had no empathy for the children killed in the Manchester bombing. I just think that was like, no matter what happened in Ireland and stuff like that, nobody would say that children being killed was okay. Nobody. Whether they were British or whatever, nobody would think that that's an okay thing. They're not a legitimate target. And anybody who attacked them are just scumbags. They're not fighting for a cause. No child is a legitimate target. Whatever about, police force or army forces or governments or whatever, that children are not and should never be a target. It's only scumbags, cowards who go after children. They're not a legitimate target.
You see, when Muhammad, he was battling, he was in sort of attacking tribes and here and there, right? Even Medina. He put the kids in categories that check the kids. If they got a pubic hair, kill them. If they don't, then they were sort of looking after them upon as a sort of later on they become slaves and selling them as they'll sell the other mother and kids as a slave. But can you see in Islam what we call kid is not kid? As long as they got a pubic hair, they call them mature. They call them adult. We're looking at different angles with the thing, right? On thing. Muslim, they don't have this view as we have. That's where we're going wrong, right? That's where we're going wrong. She said when she looked at the heads, beheaded heads, right? They said, "What do you feel?" I was okay. It was all right with me. Yeah. She said because she knew. Politically correct. She said because she knew is norm in there, right? But it's not. It's literally what they're saying is, if you are not a Muslim, if you don't convert to Islam, if you don't follow them, you're going to be beheaded. So she knew this. You see, so she's mature enough to understand any of this. And now she said, people should have sympathy with me because they don't know what I've been through. I beg your pardon. What you've been through? But you just said you had a good time. She said it would have been this opportunity to find her husband. That was a golden opportunity for her to find her husband there. She was mature enough in the age of 15 to go and have sex on her own wish. You call her kid, at least thank God she's not coming back, but I think her family should be deported as well.
Absolutely.
And I believe all family helped her. This is my understanding. her sister
Absolutely.
gave
She's
her
only 15.
passport and the yeah.
She had her approval. Because Muslims, women don't do anything without the approval of their parents.
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
said that she was becoming a Muslim, religious. How you become a religious if it's not coming from the family? Especially in a Muslim family, everything actually bubbles up from the family. So this is the reality of the situation. And one more thing, I don't know, did you hear Majid Nawaz was attacked as well? Majid
Who?
Nawaz, Majid Nawaz is he's the presenter of LBC Radio London, and Nigel
Oh,
Farage
yeah.
is one of the presenters as well. Yeah, and he said he was attacked by somebody who he was trying to say that he was an English guy and he was a racist because he said you bloody Paki, and he attacked him. Yeah, but what it is that the white people do not, or English people, they do not have problem with this guy, but the other Muslim, they look at him, even they previously warned him. They told him that you are a murtad, you are an infidel, and if I see you, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll kill you, I'll hit you. So now he's trying. This guy, he used to be a jihadi himself. He
Yeah.
was in prison in Egypt. He's trying to actually show that he's reformed. I don't know how he's reformed. That still is a Muslim. First of all, he knows everything, exactly like that Imam Tawhidi. That Imam Tawhidi of Australia. He even say, if I turn this book upside down, the blood will come out of it. So Imam Tawhidi, if you know all this, how on earth you are an Imam, you are still a strong Muslim? Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, I find it a bit dodgy as well. I don't know. I think you can't, you're either in or you're out. You can't be, the conformists, like, where would you start to conform? You'd have to start the whole book and from beginning to end. You can't conform. There's like, taking one section out is still not going to cure. The whole book is evil. So, where to start?
I mean, this is what I'm trying to explain to people. Bring examples of these, Muslim people and Islam and everything. That these are the few examples I can give you to see how these people operate, how these people think, what they think of you. I'm trying to wake people up, especially the Irish.
Yeah, thank you. So much leftists in Ireland. They are, I hope, waking up slowly. They do. I think the more the government is so obvious anti-British and anti kind of, rallying, they know they're being used. And it probably would have happened. The funny thing is, it could have probably a real civil war happened in Ireland and a real kind of thing. But because the government is so anti, they know they're being used. So they're like, we're not getting involved in this. What are you using us for? To put us in another union? Why would we take Northern Ireland out to put in another union? That makes no sense. And it's obvious the EU are using us. And I think it probably could have happened if the government wasn't so bloody obvious about it. It's just kind of like, no, we're not getting involved in this crap. You want to use us. So I actually think that they've been too obvious about it, and I think there's all been red flags in Northern Ireland, and that's the Irish government and the EU. That is not actually, I really don't believe it's paramilitaries doing any of that, because I don't think anyone's that stupid to be used by the Irish government. I'd say it's even Antifa, because I do think Antifa and all those anti-racists are involved in government and Brussels. I think they're all being paid off.
My advice to the Irish people will be this, yeah. Now, first of all, what happened in the past, it has passed, yeah. As we had problem with Germany, Germany was the biggest enemy, and now we travel there, we got German friends, we marry Germans, we are completely cool about everything. We forgot about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the past is gone, right? Now we are in a different situation. Now the Irish people should be thinking, even if it's under your religious belief, if you think you are religious belief, yeah? Christ says, love thy neighbor. Why it is, you see, we are not very far away from each other. And we are the last on the western side of Europe. We are the last countries, yeah?
Yeah,
I think the best thing will be to unite. Yeah, not
absolutely.
necessarily. I'm saying no. I still thinking. I mean, the Northern Europe should be given to Ireland. Northern Ireland should be given to Ireland. Yeah, and respect their wish. Hmm?
Yeah,
But stay friends, stay allied.
absolutely.
Because if something comes towards us, yeah, we are not surrounded by other countries. You get me? We
Yeah,
are two islands,
yeah,
and we are vulnerable, right?
yeah,
As we have been before. So the best thing will be, look, love your cousin, forget about the past, try to get these whatever problems ahead, or existing, sorted, and live as a good family.
yeah.
And it's going to be beneficial because, as I said, we are more protected together. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, what it is coming is not going to benefit Ireland or Irish people.
No, I mean, if we
You're
had a
losing everything.
government for our own people, but unfortunately we don't. It would be obvious, the government would be saying, look, we only joined, as I said before, the EEC to trade with United Kingdom. If we had a government, instead of causing anti-British shit and doing all the shit they're trying to stir up a war with the EU to try and get British to change their mind, I don't even see how both of them think that would work anyway. But because Britain now have secured a deal with America for their trade, now that's going to, I don't know, like America have signed off a trade agreement and are pushing it through for getting ready for no deal, same as Australia. But with America, like you think of all the American companies that are in Ireland, they moved to the UK, we'd be seriously in trouble. So this is why we should be doing a trade deal with the United Kingdom. Because you got Google, you got Facebook, you got Microsoft, you got a huge amount Dell, you got many American companies here
Yeah,
that are set up in Ireland. And the way forward with us should be kind of do a deal and get out with the British. And then we'd be able to keep the American companies because the EU and the UK will be competing for trade now. And the UK
yeah,
already look like they will pass out the EU within a year. Because if they've got America and Australia, they already, because of their history and their Commonwealth, they have so many links with so many countries that deals can be struck up with them. The EU is a new kind of empire, so they don't have any history or trade links with any, and they don't have any past with any countries as the UK have because they were the British
yeah.
Empire and they had the Commonwealth, so they can have loads of connections with all their old countries which are outside the EU, as in Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada. All of those will be connected, and because of a language, it's
That's
easier
right.
because when England set up that the British Empire and Commonwealth in these countries, even in African countries, when the British went there, they set up a very British education, a British culture, a British influence on those. So even if those people haven't been to talk to Botswanas, and even though they were under the British rule for such a short time, afterwards they still kept the structure of the British in there. So the British was quite like it was the biggest empire in the world. So they've created that. So they still have all those links that are easier to connect
Yeah.
because of history. The EU is a new thing. they won't be able to compete with the UK.
Yeah.
Within a year, the UK will far pass it out. And because of the English language, the only people left speaking English in the UK or the EU is the Irish. And we're tiny.
That's right. You see, the very similar example of your situation. We got it in Greece and Cyprus. Can you see the similarity?
Well, they're all
The
kind of a bust. France, Germany are heading into recession, and Italy, they're all getting into recession. Germany just narrowly escaped it. Italy and France are heading in. Like, there's no way it can sustain this without the UK. That is why they're holding on badly to try and cause civil wars, to try and scare the British enough. But they don't seem to understand the British mentality. It's not like if you start bullying and scare tactics, it's actually going to work against your favour. I don't know. They don't seem to understand that. But anyway, yeah, we are. We were bullied like Greece. We were bullied like Portugal and the rest of them.
if you speak with the Cypriot, they will tell you that during the invasion, Greece betrayed them, literally turned the blind eye, and the Cyprus was invaded, literally. The British didn't help them. Nobody helped them, Like, for example, the time that Saddam Hussein was like, oh, in 45 minutes, we're going to be destroyed. They got a weapon of mass destruction, right? But they didn't say it about the Turkey. Still, Turkey invading the northern Syria. They had a blood of the 1915 genocide of the Armenian, and the whole history of the Turks is blood and bloodshed. And now they sort of calling them allied, European allied. They are not in Europe. They are not in Europe yet. And everything happening European, the Turks are in. They giving them all the credits. You see, it's a hypocrisy. You can see the hypocrisy. The British, they got a sort of base in Cyprus. They got a base in Greece. They're using both of them, but they didn't help when the Turks actually invaded those countries. They're still not saying anything. They're not saying get out. Cyprus clearly been invaded. So this is the clear example of what's happening. Very similar to England and Ireland with the Greece and Cypriot. So don't try to be divided because they're gonna conquer you. That's the bad news. That's the only thing I can say. Try to be united and see what solution you can find to get together and live as a good, happy family.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to break down everything, and really, as much you can see it, like even things, evictions, right? The Irish banks and government together were using Northern Irish Protestants to come down to take Irish citizens out of their homes. So it was obvious. Nobody was that stupid to see this was completely to try and antagonize and create a war zone. But even the Northern Irish Ulstermen, who came out and said they're not doing that under our name. Like, if you have any problems, you can ask us. We'll come down and we'll defend and fight for your homes as well. And they were the first to come out. And it was the first time the government wasn't really able to they really want to divide and conquer. And it's so obvious. You can see. Like, they could have used anybody, but they used Northern Irish men to do that on purpose, to antagonise the Irish into going up to Northern Ireland, to attacking the Northern Irish. But the Northern Irish Ulstermen came out straight away and said, that's not in our name. We're not doing that. Anybody we know, it's not in our name. It's nothing to do with us. But the Irish themselves were like, come on, like, you could have used anybody. You went up there. And it actually worked against the government, because the Irish government were like, what are you doing? Why would you use them? Horrible thing to do, number one. Number two, to use Northern Irish. Now, they ended up getting it attacked very badly because they were isolated, and other so-called paramilitaries got in and found them and beat the crap out of them or whatever. But which is fair enough. But at least they weren't going up to blow up houses in Northern Ireland out. And I do believe that that's what the government and the banks want to create the situation. They want a civil war. That's why they hired them. They wanted the Irish to go up there and start blowing up people up in Northern Ireland in their homes. They're deliberately trying to do this. There's no other reason why they would do that. Why would you hire thugs from Northern Ireland? There is no other reason other than you want them to attack Northern Irish. You want to just build up this divide and conquer. You want to divide them and have them all kind of angry at each other. There's no other possible reason why you would do that.
Yeah.
Now, they're saying it's from the banks, but it's all kind of linked in together with the media, of course.
Well, at the end, I said to one of my friends, "Is the time of the empire of devil, and he's out and ruling, and we should all pray
You're right.
to God, our Savior, to help us and protect us from the devil, and we should all pray." Anyway, I'm gonna make a nice honey and lemon for myself. I'll start coughing again.
God love you. Listen, thank you so much for coming on, and you did so well because I know you're in bits. I know you're so sick. Thank you so much, Elvis. It was a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time. And we'll see you next week. And thanks for giving your time, although you were ill.
Thanks a lot.
On the bottom show. Thank you so much, Elvis. Bye bye. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
You are listening to Irish News Radio and irishnews.net. Email news@irishnews.net.